On today's Saturday news, a huge AEW World Championship match has been announced.
Got news on Vince McMahon being a business bastard.
Can't say. Exciting WWE main roster star has signed a new contract, damn it.
And there's a brand new wrestling documentary. Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Bill Chambers and I'm joined by Garrett's back.
Yay! I'm not ready for the news time, clearly.
What have we got first, Garrett?
Well, I'll just compose myself. But what we have got is news, very big news, regarding a certain Maxwell Jacob Friedman, because he's just had like an AEW World Championship match like a week ago now, which was like, he's wrestling all the time, Maxwell. He wrestled on Dynamite as well, and it now looks like he's going to be wrestling on next week's Dynamite as well. I believe it's next week's. Yes, it is next week's. I'm good at my job. Yes. So that's what's going to be happening, because none other than Daniel Garcia. He had a main event match against Trent Beretta on Rampage, and none other than Garcia took the mic and said he wants a match, and he wants some gold, and he's very picky, and he wants one specific piece of gold, and that is MJF's AEW World Championship. So he said all this, and everyone was a bit like, wow, I came out of nowhere, but that is a hell of a match, plug it in, I want some of that stuff. And MJF clearly felt the same way, because he took to Twitter, X, whatever it is, he said, this company was built on the backs of young men who chose to be elite. Well, Danny, you want to brush with greatness? I just got off the phone with our boss. This Wednesday night, the present will defend his title against the future. You're on. And then Tony Khan, made it all official, and he was like, this Wednesday, up Portland, I'm on the center, Dynamite, 8 p.m, today it's gonna happen, we have MJF against Garcia, it's gonna be a great show, and it's official. Yeah, so that's gonna be happening. 9 days, it's gonna happen, yep. So, yeah, in the Motor Center, that, if you missed it, in Portland, Oregon, and that's... You'd like to think that's probably going to be MJF's last World Championship defense before he goes up against Jay White. If he is successful, you never know. Daniel Garcia could win the match and not get the chance to lift the world title because Maxwell doesn't have his belt right now. But yeah, this is mad. I'm well up for this. I think a lot of people online have been saying, yes, this is a bit more of the old school AEW, having the fresh talents and just throwing them out there in a big spot, probably in the main event. That's what you want to see. Less old 70-year-old veterans stealing TV time.
Yeah, we don't need any more 75-year-old sex pests.
You're on form today, Philip. My goodness.
I am, thoroughly enjoying this MJF run. I think it's great. It's such a sort of 180 from where he was as a heel character, desperately trying not to fight as many people as possible, to now just going, yeah, whatever, I'm done with this, bring it on, absolutely everybody, and just running through loads and loads of people and just having great match after great match. I'm loving it. It's really, really good. He is the best in AEW at the minute, as you should be with the belt, obviously. But yeah, it's really, really good fun. It's also going to be a good excuse when he eventually loses that belt, whenever it is down the line. He's going to be so worn down by the time he gets there that it'll kind of be warranted and be a little bit of an excuse for him. I'm really, really enjoying this.
It's the Orange Cassidy move, isn't it?
It is very much the Orange Cassidy move, yeah. But on a grander scale, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, take a formula that works and do it again. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Really looking forward to this match as well. I think this is one of the more fresher ones that we've had in this kind of run. And bringing Daniel Garcia desperately needs to be in a higher spot on the card. So hopefully this is the beginning of something for Daniel Garcia as well. And it works out for everybody.
But I want to see the dance get countered by the kangaroo kick. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. That's definitely going to happen. 100% that is happening. Love it.
Good stuff.
But speaking of things not working out for everybody, Vince McMahon and Dana White, don't know if you know this, but they used to be slight enemies, and now they're together. What a wonderful world. But Dana White was talking on the Triggered podcast about his relationship with Vince McMahon, and he said he was one of those guys who would effing stick it to me for whatever reason, which I quite enjoy. But he was talking about a specific time that Dana White was about to sign a TV deal with NBC to air UFC on USA. And but at that point, Vince McMahon, because obviously WWE was on NBC and USA specifically as well, Vince McMahon had a clause in his contract that stopped anybody else, or that he had the final say, about any other sort of combat sports type things, and whether they could air on USA Network. So Dana White and his UFC co-owner Lorenzo Fertitta went to meet Vince McMahon to like ask him like, hey, can we do this? And Vince just said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And then when they asked him why, Vince said, I'm just not that interested in it. Don't like the idea of you guys on USA Network. That was it. Vince McMahon completely squashed the entire TV deal for UFC. Worked out for UFC in the end. Eventually they went to Fox instead and had like a 9-year run or whatever it was on Fox. And apparently things have turned around since then. Obviously Dana White said he couldn't be a better partner. He keeps me in the loop with everything going on, making sure I'm cool with decisions that could affect UFC. But I just enjoy stories of business bastards being bastards.
Yeah, it's intriguing. It is. It's quite fascinating. It's not surprising at all.
Not at all. It's not even all.
But it's just just going into such like a massive meeting with so much money on the line. Like it's just huge. You can't really understate like the importance of it, and then just having this billionaire a-hole just go, nah,
Stop
don't fancy it.
Not today.
I think we know why Dana White's hair fell out. Yeah, that's it makes all the sense in the world. Speaking as another proud member of the ball community, so yeah, it's yeah, not surprising at all. But speaking of things that aren't that surprising, well, Dragon Lee has recently been called up to the main roster, obviously. So he's been on there, and you've seen him. I don't think he was on this week's SmackDown. Maybe he was, and if he was, and I can't remember, that's not a great sign. But yeah, he's been there. He's been doing stuff. I think he's been teaming with Cameron Grimes at times. It's been a good time. But he has now officially signed a new contract with WWE, because I believe the deals are a little bit different between NXT and the main roster, and then you do have to sign something else, and all this kind of stuff. And the Wrestling Observer newsletter confirmed this. Dave Meltzer, he said that this all reportedly went down last week, and he's been moved now officially onto the roster, like on the WWE Superstars page and all that kind of good stuff. And he explained in the newsletter, Meltzer, that Lee choosing not to sign with AEW back when both companies were looking to bring in the mass sensation appears to have worked out pretty well for him, because, well, just look at where he's at now. Like, because he's got this probably new deal. I assume maybe he's probably going to be on more money. You'd like to think if he's on the main roster. I'm just assuming that, but you do like to think that could happen. And it's interesting because a lot of people around the time he had AEW and WWE coming in for him were telling him, do not go to AEW because you're probably going to get lost in the shuffle, which is pretty surprising, really, seeing how things were like a couple of years back. That people were probably saying don't go to WWE because just look at the track record with Mexican wrestlers, like apart from what Alberto Del Rio, they've not really, and even him like is kind of hit and miss, but they've not really been great with Mexican wrestlers. Sin Cara, people like that, it just didn't work out, did it? So that was a couple of years ago, but now it was seen as, yeah, that's probably the wise choice, because you're going to get at least a bit more time to shine. It seems like they're putting a bit more focus on these incoming stars, and he smashed it in NXT, and he's now in a position where he's probably one of the more exciting call-ups that they've got right now, and if they use him well, he could potentially finally be the successor to Rey Mysterio that like WWE have been looking for years. And yeah, it's just good. He's got a new deal, the entire world's at his feet, and you have to imagine it probably wouldn't have happened if he was in AEW right now, because he'd probably just be on Rampage having matches against Penta, El Oscuro, Miedo, whatever it is. Yep,
absolutely. I think like WWE have been kind of desperate for the next big luchador to like follow in Rey Mysterio's footsteps for a really long time now, and they've tried and failed many times through the likes of, obviously, like Sin Cara was their big hot property that they were like, oh my god, this is the next Rey Mysterio. Didn't entirely work out that way, but like there've been a bunch of others, especially through the sort of 205 Live era, where they were like luchadors, and they're like, and they're just on 205 Live, and it's like, well, you're not gonna probably put effort into these people, you're not going to get the next Rey Mysterio. It doesn't work like that. But Dragon Lee is incredibly talented. He's got one of the best dives in the business, and his call-up so far has been a little bit weird. Like, he had the kind of, it was a big deal when he first came up, and he was with the sort of with the LWO, but they made like a big deal of him on TV, and then they just kind of paired him with Cameron Grimes in a weird match, and I was like, and then they lost, and I was like, well, that's a bit strange. So hopefully this means a kind of renewed focus on Dragon Lee and a proper push if he's like properly signed to a brand new deal. They've got him for however many years. They're paying him more now, so they've got to get more out of him, I assume. Is a weird little business mind. So hopefully, yeah, this means a renewed push for him, because he is very talented guy. And eventually they'll do Rey Mysterio versus Dragon Lee at some point, and that'll be absolutely amazing. But there's loads of great matches that they can get out of Dragon Lee on the main roster.
Yeah, there's more faith in like Lee being handled well now than what there's probably ever been before.
Yes,
so just let's keep our
especially
fingers
now
crossed.
with Triple H in control, might work out a little bit better than it has done in the past for luchadors, because we all know what Vince McMahon thinks about small people. But moving over, good luck to Crack Dragon Lee, is basically what I'm saying. He's amazing. Finally, ending on a bit of a more personal note, you may know that I was kind of vaguely involved with Kayfabe News. I was doing their YouTube channel, which you can still go to, youtube.com/Kayfabe News, and subscribe and watch all of the videos because they're great. But Colin Hunter, the man behind Kayfabe News, is basically a one-man guy who's written Kayfabe News forever. He's ridiculously talented and very, very funny. He has a new documentary coming up called The Ref Didn't See It. Now, the trailers are out there that you can go see. It's on YouTube. It's all over the place. You can go to therefmovie.com and go check all of it out. It's got loads of wrestlers in it, and obviously a bunch of top referees and things like Earl Hebner and Bill Alfonso, and it's basically his journey into the weird world of professional wrestling refereeing, like very much niching down into that weird world, and just seeing what makes referees tick, what's it all about. And it's a really interesting little documentary, but he's put everything into this at the minute, and he has a Kickstarter out to try and recoup some of the costs that they've put into it, because trust me, they've been like scratching and clawing trying to get this thing made. So go check out therefmovie.com to go see all about this. I'll put a link in the comments below as well, and go check out his Kickstarter, and there's loads of perks on the Kickstarter page as well, so if you can, support the movie because it looks like a really, really fun project. You've intrigued me. It wasn't on my radar, but it is now, and I'll be sure to check it out as well. So you do the same. Do it now. But that is it. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want, you can click this video down below to continue your YouTube journey. That's the words. But you can also follow us over on Twitter. Not going to say X. You can follow Gareth
at gmorgan04.
There you go.
The birds.
You can follow me at Fill My Chambers. That is the news. Thank you very much for joining us, and most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.